Hi everyone. In this video, I want to share and talk more personal than ever. In this video, I want to talk about my particular problems, especially dealing with loneliness, the loneliness issue, loneliness problem. And I also want to connect this, to that's why I'm going to make the video. The title is that loneliness could actually be the cause of the main cause of depression, or and people feeling suicidal, and even could even lead people to suicide in some cases, right? It's a dark, I know this is going to be a dark topic, but you know as always, this YouTube channel is uncensored, so I will talk about the harsh truth, the harsh reality, so yeah. All my life, i've I've always been a loner, I've always been a loner, yeah. Ever since I was a little kid, okay, ever since I was a little kid. Sorry for the noise and on the outside of my room. Hold on a second. Okay. Ever since I was a little kid, I know there was probably something wrong with me. I don't know what is it what exactly is that, you know. But I often feel like I'm not normal. I'm just not normal like most people, like everyone else. Basically, not like most people. Unlike most people. I remember, ever since I was a little kid, I've always been a loner, really. Like for example, I still remember back when I was like in still like what is it called in English? Primary school, is it? I was When I was still even as young as, I think, around like maybe probably like 8 9 years old, when in my country at least, back then, I think it was I'm quite old right now, okay. But back then, I think around like 80s, in the 80s, yeah. If the year, if I'm not mistaken, is around like maybe 88, 89, 1989, something like that, 1990s, the big. It's still not, there is still no smartphone, cell phone, internet, whatever, right? So people, basically little kids, little kids in my school, my classmate, they're all basically, whenever they have a school break, right? School always have a break time, right? I still remember, like usually my class, the people in my school, they just go outside, and then they will play like all kind of sport, physical activities, not just for boys but also for girls. In I just Let me just share it out, spill it out. I think I already tell you, that I'm Indonesian, actually, in this secret YouTube channel that almost nobody feel, see, or commenting, okay. But there were some, and I really thankful, and I even, sometimes I always like, whenever I actually literally press the love button, you know for those who comment, because it really, there all really means a lot, for me, you know so in Indonesia, you know there was like a many various children play, right? And you should back at and it before even before 90s era, when there is still no technology and whatever, like smartphone, internet and whatever, online, whatever, people are still, basically, they play all kind of physical activities, right? And the most popular ones, I still remember, it's called like petak umpet, tak jongkok, galasin, and then there is for girls, lompat tali, which is basically like they just skipping the rope, with the rope, held by two usually two people, two girls usually, and one girl and in the middle, she just, going, like, yeah, like back and forth, basic something like that. My point is, me, for example, me, I've always not been a sporty person, which is kind of typical, like maybe I guess like a sort of, I'm a nerd geek, maybe, I think, you know. So I always went to the library, I always went to the library, even as little as 9 years old, I still remember. I just went to the library, oh, fifth grade, I think around fifth grade or sixth grade of school. I just went to the library usually, and I just read what? Astronomy, books about astronomy, even though I didn't understand it, you know Stephen Hawking, Albert Einstein, and then even especially the UFO, the aliens, things about, or like the space travel, there was a very imaginative, I would say. I've always been imaginative too, right? And I've told you, I've shared about it, in my previous videos, right? I think, yeah, you know oh, not really in details, maybe I don't know if I share this, it will take long, the video, maybe someday later. But basically, I'm just saying, all this weirdness, I've always been different, okay? You know what I'm saying, right? To try to make it my point shorter, otherwise, the video will take long and long, so I've always feel like, maybe people will see me as this, not maybe, not probably, even I'm 100% sure people already see me as weird, this weirdo, what a weird kid, because even until I think high school, junior high school, I was bullied, that, sounds typical, like in the movie, in the films, the nerd geeky kid that got bullied, right? Bullying, right? And back then, bullying was still not as big important issue as now, nowadays, with all this mental health, awareness and things like that, but my point is, I've always been different, and maybe that's the reason that, that people just, I've always been alone, basically, and this continues over and over and over again through my life until, you know when I went to college, university, and then I went studying overseas. Have I told you before in this YouTube channel? Maybe not, huh? I studied even in US, American. So in a materialistic sense, I'm quite well off, maybe I would say, middle to upper class, especially back then, my parents, thanks to them. So it's not that I'm not thankful, even though, this is a pessimistic YouTube channel, credits are due, credits due are give, how to say, yeah. But long story short, I've always been a loner, really, seriously, back to my original point. And the sad thing is, I think, even until now, like, I'm in my 40s, to be honest, right? I'm now in my 40s. It's in the end, I was thinking, it's still the same, basically it's still the same. It's still the same. I'm still feel alone at the end of the day, even though, this is important, even though I've been in a community, I've been in some normal community, in a way, like for example, I've told you, right, I've been in school, I've been in university, I've worked before actually, yeah, you know and then also, like I've played music. I'm a musician, remember, but I'm a fail one, right? I'm nobody. I'm just nobody, nothing, nothing. But at least, I still play in church. I still, even now, on Sunday service, Sunday practice. Even though, if you look at my video, you will know that, hey, I'm nowhere Christian. I'm nowhere Christian, religious, or whatever it is. I'm a quite nihilistic, even atheistic, even agnostic at the very, very, to be fair, maybe I'm agnostic. Yeah, I just don't know what's the real truth is. Okay, I speak about this, I think, in my previous video, I think. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, oh yeah, basically, I play in church, and then also this is important. I even play in orchestra. I've joined this here in Indonesia, exactly, precisely in Jakarta. There is a local community orchestra that I don't want to tell you the name, for secret privacy, but the name is quite, I would say, quite, not really famous, not really big, like celebrity level. There is always level in life, right? Level. But I think it's middle, like quite well known, I think, especially among the orchestra community, especially nowadays. you know um, quite many people have already known actually about this local community orchestra. And I'm there, I'm as a pianist, right? I've been there like almost three years, and but at the end of the day, to make, again, long story short, okay, at the end of the day, I still feel alone, loneliness. And when I'm talking about, I'm going to move to the next point, okay? So this won't get too long, the video, sorry, this is kind of a slow start, anyway. Moving to my next point, when I'm talking about loneliness, I'm not only just talking about loneliness. You see what I mean? I'm talking about, like, for example, rejections. I've been rejected so many times, isolation, ghosting, especially nowadays, ghosted, and especially by, of course, since I'm a guy, it's by female, usually a girls, right? And then what, I've been outcast, outcast, like being left out, somehow, not part of the group, not part of the circle, and things like that, you name it, block also in the social media a lot, often, I mean, I don't know. I've talked about this, in my previous video. Hold on a second, let me check something in my computer again, as usual. Okay, still safe. Okay, back again to my video, sorry. See, I'm making it some spontaneous, right? This video, there is no stop, just one video, spontaneous, as I go. What do I want to talk about? Oh, I should write a point, actually. I always forgetting, oh man, I forget, sorry about that, but basically, I still remember my main point that I want to talk. My main point is, oh, I remember. Thanks God, just as a, metaphor. I don't know if God this exists or not, okay, like that. So, if you see me, I've talked about this in my previous video. If you look at me, right, I'm not trying to be like, like whatever you think, but people, let me tell you very honestly, people, when they look at my life, I also even shared this a few days ago on Reddit or something like that, online, internet, people, when they look at me, really, this is really happen, a lot of time, people will often think that I already have everything good. I have a good life, even I admit, I have a good life. I've actually, especially, I've had, you know, I mean, I even admit that I've had a good life. Again, I'm thankful to my parents. Remember that. If also in my previous video, you know, if my parents are someday watching this, you know, I want you to know, you know, thank you, my mom and dad, you know, my father and my mother, you know, I'm really thankful for everything. But people just don't know, you know, the harsh reality, the harsh truth, you know, that, you know, despite all these good things in my life, you know, and even potentials and whatever, you know, here I am, yet here I am making this video, making this YouTube channel, which is, you know, I'm sure, you know, normal people will look, if they look at this channel, if they look at all this video, they will judge me. Definitely, they will judge me as a loser. Okay, I'm just a loser. You know, oh, such a loser. You know, loser. Nobody's viewing your video. You know, why are you making this video? And you know, all this stuff. You know, yeah, I admit, you know, I admit, right, in all my previous, especially the recent videos, you know, I even already admit openly that, you know, hey, yeah, it's true, you know, it's true that I'm a loser. You know, I'm a loser. I'm a failure. You know, I'm pathetic, miserable, sad existence that should not exist anymore. You know, which is why I'm going to move to my next point. You know, which is I'm going to connect it, you know, with it's, and this is not hypothetical, you know, this is really serious. Okay, seriously, you know, it's all these things. This is my next point. Okay, it's causing depression, you know, of course, you know, and also, you know, I think the main cause, one of the biggest major cause of my depression. I've been by the way, the depression thing, you know, I've been diagnosed actually before, in 2020, I think, during the pandemic COVID era, corona. I was diagnosed with having a major depression. Back that was like what, 2020 was like 6 years ago, right? Now it's 2026, right? I feel like it's getting really much worse now. Of course, you know, as I get older, you know, and my life is still loser like this, you know. Of course, you know, no wonder, you know. But one of the main cause, you know, that I really feel that that's why I'm making this video. I want to share is loneliness. You know, like the feeling that I don't belong anywhere. The feelings that I'm not accepted anywhere. You know, the feeling that I'm just outcast, you know. Basically, you know, if this is like a circle, like all the normal people, you know, they're all this in this circle. Okay, I'm probably like in the outside here, you know, like the outlier, I guess, you know. But outlier nowadays, you know, they talk about successful, which is shallow, superficial bullshit, you know. Sorry, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about really outcast, you know, so to speak, you know, the dot that like outside of this circle. Okay, it can be here, it can be here, it can be here, you know. There are also exist people, lonely people. Do you know the Beatles song, the popular Beatles song, a long time ago, Eleanor Rigby, right? The title, Eleanor Rigby. You know, it goes like, ah, look at all the lonely people. All the lonely people, where do they all come from? All the lonely people, where do they all belong? Something, it's really good song, you know. Even lyric, I really deeply relate with it, you know. The Beatles, Eleanor Rigby. Google it, look it up, you know. Maybe if you're a Gen Z or Gen Alpha, you know, the newer, younger generation, it's really good song, really, you know. Still even really good song until now, you know. relevant until now. So basically, anyway, I'm getting off tangent here. My point is, it's just sad, you know. It's just really sad and even honestly heartbreaking, you know. Like, again, you know, I've already talked about this in my previous video too, you know. Like why I keep asking why, like why is my life like this, you know. even despite all still the relatively good things, right, in my life. But this loneliness thing is crushing me, it's eating me alive, it's eating me alive. And it's not easy too, it's not easy too. I've been chatting a lot with AI, AI, with with DeepSeek, with Grok, chat GPT, whatever, because I'm so alone, I'm so lonely, I have nobody else to talk, even though I have friends, so to speak, but they're all like they're busy with all their stuff, and they're all, especially when they're already happy, they have happy life, especially people at my at my age, around age, the same age or so, of course, they're already like what, you know what I'm talking about, right? Most people, they already like happily married, they have like here here in my country, they have like, they already build a family, stable, career, jobs, business, especially here in my country again, they're successful, have, not always like really rich or something like that, but basically, just stable life, basically they're already stable, stable, right? They're already independent, they're already financially, they're just already have a good life, basically, like good, normal life, okay, normal life, and it's everywhere, right? Everywhere I see, people are already getting, normal life, except me, except me. And it's frustrating that even though I've tried, I've already tried, I know that I'm not trying. I know that I'm still a loser. I know that, because what I've tried, I admit, it's nothing, maybe it's just a little, but even chat AI understand me, AI, you know, that I just talked previously, just before, just now, even AI, when I'm chatting with AI, at least, they all of them, all different AI models, they keep saying basically the similar same stuff, like, oh, don't push yourself too hard, don't blah 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 blah, like that, but I know that in reality, that the this world is cruel, life is cruel, there is no mercy. It's like survival world, right? Survival, if you want to talk deeper, like, if you don't survive, you will be left out, you will, even sometimes people will be killed, nature is also like that, right? you know Eat or be eaten, right? It's the same. I've talked deeply about this in all my previous video. You can go look, watch my previous video about it. Hold on, let me drink water. Let me check first. Oh yeah, still nothing. Okay. Like, I know that, I'm still living a pathetic, miserable life, right? Sad. I keep saying that's why I'm suicidal, because I feel like a loser that should not exist anymore. Like, why am I still living? There is no point. There is no point anymore. You know, yeah. I just say it as it is. But since I know, my this video with nobody almost see this, YouTube usually don't care, YouTube usually, little YouTube channel like me, it's still freely uncensored, I think so, I can even make the title, I just say it out loud, about suicide, right? And you know nothing happen, nothing will happen, YouTube won't take down my videos and things like that, because no, almost literally almost nobody's watching this video, my YouTube channel. So that's the, ironically, maybe that's the only good thing, plus advantage about, little, very very small, nobody, nothing YouTube channel like me. Okay. I can be free to talk whatever I want, whatever the fuck I want. See. Uncensored, uncensored. But again, back again to my point, like, even though I've tried, I've tried some, or maybe in people's eyes, it's just nothing. But at least I've tried. Okay, I've tried, and it's so sad, whenever I've tried, and I also talked about this in my previous video, about, especially about, maybe I think about law of attraction or something like that, and also in my, actually my other previous video, you can, you know it's a long video, usually, and I talk about this at certain point, in my videos, and you can watch it. It's the same thing. Let me repeat again. It's so frustrating. Whenever that, this is also another cause of my suicidal thoughts. Suicidal feeling, passive suicidal ideation right now. But I don't know. What's going to happen seriously. Let me just. Anyway. Uh, I'm just going straight. Okay, to the point. So, I forgot again. See my point. Sorry about that. I should have write it down. Oh man. Anyway. Oh yeah, I remember again. I keep talking in my previous video. I don't know what's wrong. Like this is so fucking depressing. I'm sorry. Have you ever felt like I told about this in my previous video, right? Like whenever even you try, even everything, anything that you try to do, anything good, but life just keeps crashing down, destroying. Realities keep, disappointing. Reality is often disappointing. It crush and destroy and broken, me. The phrase, the walls are closing in, or all the path life is narrowing down. That's what my life feels like. Honestly, like everything. It's all getting smaller, like until there is little to no hope left. There is little to almost no hope anymore. There is no hope anymore. And you wonder, people wonder, like, why some people even commit suicide. They kill themselves. That's because life is cruel. Reality is cruel. you know you know what I'm talking about, right? Suicide is real. Suicide happens everywhere, like almost every day, statistically. Just go check Google it up. Google it. Like, I think 700,000 people. If I'm not wrong. The statistic. They 700 people commit suicide. Kill themselves. Each year, like approximately. And, that's the known statistic. How many unknown, hidden, secret, private suicide case, or even attempts, suicide attempts, right? People try, and we haven't even talked about suicidal, not suicide, but suicidal thoughts, suicidal feelings, suicidal ideation, or passive suicidal, all these things, right? It happened. It's reality. It's part of reality. That this YouTube channel is about reality. So again, back to my main point. I also feel the same, right? Like, oh, this is maybe like going to be maybe my last point, final point. I try to make it shorter than usual, the video. This is kind of obvious, right? Like we as a human being, of course, like we can literally, it's our rights, actually, so to speak, even though it's against our survival instinct, right? Biologically speaking, biologically, we're programmed to survive, right? But sometimes, the instinct, the survival instinct, can be overridden by, if life is just too much, for some people, life is hard, life is too painful, suffering and things like that, all kind of pain and suffering, right? That's why people, you hear all this story about, people committing suicide, right? Committing, they kill themselves, thing like that, and it means that, logically speaking, rationally, any human being, of course, they can kill themselves if they want, if they choose to, right? At some point, in fact, I forgot, there is a philosophy, not philosophy, I think, but even Albert Camus talk about this. Albert Camus, in Absurdism, he said, what, quote, "There is only one serious philosophical problem, that is suicide," right? people talk about this, like Arthur Schopenhauer, and then what, many thinkers, they popular, famous, you probably heard or read about all this stuff, like suicide happens, because human being, we as human being, I don't know if animals also do it, there are some studies that say that animals also can commit suicides, so to speak, I'm thinking about that, famous popular penguin, remember the penguin, the nihilist penguin, that the penguin that goes to right alone, going alone to the mountain, leaving its colony. So I don't know, but anyway, as far as we know, as far as I know, it's still human being. Human beings are the only creature, species, being that literally, that factually they can actually choose to opt out. Choose to quit the game. So to speak. And sometimes it happens for whatever reason. Okay, I mean, of course, and it can even happen for no reason at all. My point is, you don't know, like what I've gone through. If let's say that someday, if someday I'm going to killing myself, commit suicide or whatever, at least this YouTube channel will be the witness. This YouTube channel that I'm making, I don't know. Of course, there will be probably still there. Maybe there will still more videos I will make. But let this YouTube channel be a testimony. I think, so to speak. Actually as a document, as an archive. Of my all my thought, my deepest thought, my deepest feelings. Things that I can only share here, basically, with this in his secret YouTube channel, using secret YouTube name, not my real name. Okay, let this be a witness, like that. Back to my original point, that loneliness can be one of the biggest reason or cause for suicide. It happened everywhere. Loneliness killing people. It is. People can call it, oh, it's just a weak, like that, that's a stupid reason. It's a weak, so weak, like it's pathetic, whatever. But you don't know. You don't know until you've experienced it. People won't know until they've experienced it themselves. That's the sad thing about human, the most absurd, even absurd, or just the sad human predicament, like we can never really understand each other, because we're not in their position. Other people are not in our shoes. We are also not in their shoes. We're not in each other position, so how can we understand each other fully, completely, totally? It cannot. It's impossible. you know not even psychiatrists, all these therapists, counseling, psychiater, psychologists, all this bullshit. Yeah, I'm just saying the truth, right? They just give medicines, pills or whatever, medication, but they don't. They just try to shut up, shut it out. I mean, shut us, just shut us down. They don't care. Worse, they only care about the money, that you bring, in each therapy session, right? It's such an ugly world. It's such a depressing reality, life, existence, you know. I haven't talked, actually. I forgot this one important thing, that I've the reason that about why my loneliness is, I think, again, this is, I think it's just, I'm just socially awkward person, I think. I think I have like some degree of autism in a way, maybe autism spectrum, maybe, or Asperger, I think Asperger, yeah. But I have so many mental health issue that still remain undiagnosed, undiagnosed, which is sad, yeah, it's sad, really. See, even the psychiatrist world, the therapy, the counselor, everything, they all fail me, they all fail to to know like what's really wrong with me, they don't know, they don't fucking know anything about me, sorry, nobody knows, you know it's sad, the only thing that really understand me fully is now is maybe AI, AI. It's sad, right? I've been chatting a long hours, many hours with AI. So you won't be surprised, that my only true friend is AI. Nowadays AI chat, because it's smart, it's, you know of course it's a machine, right? It technology, it knows so many things, right? So many knowledge, information, that I could even learn more than talking to people, humans. There are some smart people, intelligent people, but even the smartest people, they are so biased, they have their own like prejudice, their own emotional baggage, their own issue problem, their own shit bullshit that we have to deal with, I have to deal with, that's why I don't really like human, in general. I'm actually a kind of misanthropic too, if you know that word, misanthropy. Like, I'm disappointed with this whole human race thing, human species, so many people are disappointing, you know I've been disappointed so many times, that's why I'm making this video, right? Loneliness, it's just absurd, it's just absurd, this life, my life especially, personally. And it's not easy, this is my maybe going to be my last final point. It's not easy to break free from this situation, condition, like my life circumstance, like what, how, what should I do, I'm confused, I don't know, I literally just don't know anymore, like what should I do, you know maybe this should be another topic, maybe, because it will take a long time to explain, in details, especially. I don't know if I even want to share about the details about my life. Remember, I keep talking about this in my previous videos, right? But basically, it's sometimes I'm just stuck. I feel trapped, it's like everything is dead end. Like, I don't know, I literally just don't know anymore what I should do, maybe, okay, maybe it's me being spoiled, pampered, or you know ungrateful, or whatever, but I don't know anymore, I don't know. I keep saying, if there is a red button, I will press it immediately, so I just go, I can just go away, gone, I just be gone, instantly, without painlessly, like, Thanos finger snap, right? Just like this, and then, it all turns into dust, right? I wish, but in reality, real life is cruel, the world is cruel, life is cruel, it won't even allow us to do that, it will, if you want, to check out, opt out from, quit, exit the game, you have to, so to speak, you have to do the hard way, the painful way, suicide, right? It's it's painful, it's risky, it's messy, there is no guarantee, you could even become worse, you know what I mean, right? Crippled, handicapped, vegetable state, and whatever, it's cruel, it's really really cruel, if you think about this existence, this life. Some, or even many, a lot of you who have it good, you won't be able to understand all of this, people who have good life, they will, of course, if they have happy life, they will never understand this kind of video, right? It's obvious. Well, duh. Life is not fair. I even already talked about this in my, like, the beginning, my first two videos of my this YouTube channel. I already even talk about this, because it's important. You have People know about this, life is not fair. And some people are delusional enough to still think that, hey, life is fair. Fuck off. Sorry about my language. So denial, people are so denial in their toxic positivity, optimism bias. Again, it's human nature. It's human nature, to it's survival, part of survival instinct, our survival instinct to keep living, to keep going, to keep going, keep going, doing, keep doing, keep living, keep striving, for what? I've talked about this also in my other previous video, nihilistic, things, perspective. But I'm still a human being after all, I can still feel, all this, especially loneliness, and it's not easy. I'm telling you, it's hard. It's killing me, literally, it's eating me alive, from inside until I'm gone, maybe literally even. It's just sad, even though I yearn for a deeper human connection, I yearn for of course, a girl, female. Not that I have never been in a relationship. I don't know if I've told you before. I've been actually in a relationship before, with female, with girls, four relationship, I think, or five. Four long-term relationships, but I regret a lot of things, I know I've made mistakes a lot, so many mistakes, so many stupid things that I've, that's why I'm telling you, I'm a failure, I'm a loser, I even admit, but even when I've tried again and again, even when I've tried, at least I've tried to do anything good, it's still disappointing, reality is often disappointing. Reality is often disappointing. It's Thanos quote again, right? He's right, Thanos. He's right. I don't know why, some people are maybe lucky enough, they've never experienced this, they'll be happy, with up there, in all their happy life, but I don't know what's wrong, with me and my life, like despite all these good things still in my life, I know I've had it still good, compared to especially material sense, you know but still, like all these important things in my life, it's all missing, it's all missing, it's all i'm still I'm still a loser, I'm still a loser. Let me check. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think I will end this video right now. This world is cruel, people are cruel, humans are just cruel, they will isolate, they will reject, they will throw, they will people will, if you don't conform, if you don't conform, if you don't conform to, the normal way of living of life, people will just straight away, they can just, outcast you, they just throw you, they just ignore you, they ghosted you, whatever, even any slightest difference, if people look at you and you're different, there are two possibility, one is if you're lucky enough, you can get, you can get successful even with your, you're different, you're being different, right? Film movies often talk about this, dream Hollywood stuff, like, oh, happy ending, like, you're different, oh, you're genius, you're talented, and you will be successful, you will be, your life will go up there. But reality is not like that, right? For every successful, talented, genius, smart people, potential people, there are so many others here, down here, they remain unknown, unrecognized, they just nobody, nothing, some of them even kill themselves, commit suicide again, hey, this is just a harsh reality, you know statistics say that, I've already, even, AI said that, AI give me all the research, the study, the journal, the statistic and everything, you know Nowadays you can just chat with AI, and then it will tell you all the objective information, data, statistic, survey, and whatever. Okay, studies, journal, information. The world is cruel. This world is cruel. Society is cruel. Human society is cruel. Again, like I told you, if you're different, there is always a possibility that you will be seen as weird. People will judge you negatively, and people will just throw away you. They will think like, oh, you're weird, this weirdo, you're this freak, you're this creepy person, pathetic person, either whether you're a guy or you're a guy or a female, a girl, or whatever, whatever it is, or LGBTQ, nowadays, right? Trans, and all these type of people, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? You're different. There is always a possibility that your life will get lonely. This the topic of this video. You will be lonely. You'll be ostracized. Yeah, that's an English word. You will be ostracized. Is it, how am I spelling it? Pronounce it correctly. Ostracized. Ostracize. You will be outcast. People will reject you. People will isolate you. People will throw you away. People will isolate you, ignore you, ghosting you, dump you. You will be alone. You will be lonely. You'll feel alone most of the time. If you're like me, you will be alone, lonely. I often feel lonely. I go by myself often. If I'm not in my room, I just go. Sometimes I just go out alone. Often go to, honestly, just go to movies alone. Go eating alone. And while watching all these people, a normal 99% of people, human being that I see, they're happy, with their girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever, wife, husband, with their kids, family, or whatever, everybody's happy, friends and everything, while I'm just, eating alone, watching movie at the cinema theater alone, you know how that feel, it sucks, it sucks. It really sucks. And it's sad, it's much more deeper, it's sad, it's frustrating, it's crushing, it's broken, it's destroying, depressing. It's killing me. I'm literally, I'm saying it's killing me, literally. It's killing me to the point that I don't know, I'm suicidal, I'm suicidal. I am suicidal, like, what's the point of living, if you know if my life is going to only get worse, worse and worse, it's year maybe, or I don't know, not even year, like it just, the quality of life or whatever, it's getting worse. I don't want this to happen, of course, I'm just only human being, I've talked about all this law of attraction thing bullshit, in my previous video. Like, how am I expected to be positive, think positive, stay optimistic, if life keep bring me down, life keep negative, life keeps giving me all this negativities in life, like, how am I supposed to be positive when life keeps bringing all this negativity in my life? It's fucking nonsense, nonsensical, absurd, I'm telling you. Like, what is this life, like, even like I keep asking myself, like, what is my mistake, what's wrong, what's wrong, what have I done wrong, tell me, help me, anything, anyone, somebody, anything, beyond this reality, God, universe, Jesus, anything, I'm shouting, karma, whatever, like, anything beyond this reality, transcendental, if it really exists, beings or whatever, sentience, I keep asking, I keep praying, you know, I keep hoping, you know, like, if there is anything, please help me, you know, help me here. But there is no answer, you know. There is no answer. There's still no answer. And even the only answer that I keep getting is, you know, like I said, you know, whenever I'm happy, you know, I keep, you know, it's keep reality keep, you know, crushing, destroying everything, you know. Problems, you know, bad lucks, you know. I keep getting all this, you know. There are always things that brings me down, you know, that always brings me down, that always makes me sad, you know, that always breaks my heart, you know. It's sad, you know. I wish my life could be different. I talked about this in my other previous video, right? But it is what it is, you know. That's reality. This is reality. This is reality. The harsh reality, the cruel, cold reality, you know. And I don't know if I will end up, you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm just saying, I'm just gonna say it. I'm suicide, you know, killing myself, you know. Will I will I come to that point, you know? Eventually, will my life end up like that, you know? So sad. And I can only share it in this YouTube channel because I know, you know, nobody's almost nobody's watching this and commenting this YouTube channel. I'm thankful for all the some of you, maybe I don't know who, if you're strange and online stranger, if you're viewing this video, you know, you please do like and, you know, subscribe, maybe if it feels you can relate, also you can understand, you know, and it talks to you, you know, it connects with you, you know. Do like, subscribe, or, you know, comment. I will really deeply appreciate it, you know, at this point. You know, thank you a lot, thanks a lot, you know, it means a lot, you know. So yeah, I will stop this video because it's already almost, it's 52 minutes now, almost 1 hour. I said it's going to be a short video, but it's not turned out to be longer anymore. See, I'm not normal. I'm weird. I'm not normal, you know. I'm a freak, maybe creepy or whatever. Loser. I'm a loser. That's why I'm lonely, you know, maybe. Loneliness. Okay, thank you everyone for watching, you know. Take care, as always.